Welcome to the deep dive. This is your shortcut, really, to getting properly informed. We sift through sources, notes, research, all that, and pull out the key nuggets for you, all custom tailored.
Exactly. And today, our mission, if you will, is exploring the, let's say, unpredictable world of MLS football.
Right, and we're using insights from advanced AI models to guide us. Specifically, SmartBet AI from the Gambler's Ruin project.
Yeah, and we've got some really interesting ground to cover. We'll unpack some strong AI forecasts for one key match where the models are pretty much aligned.
Right.
And then we pivot to, frankly, a bizarre bit of history, a team whose uniforms, let's just say they messed up the whole game plan, literally.
I know this is go. And then, this is where it gets fascinating for me. We hit a match where the AI models actually disagree.
Conflict.
Which leads to some really crucial lessons, about data, confidence, and playing football in a sauna.
You said it.
Okay, let's get into it. Are you ready to dive into the data, the drama, and, yeah, even the dangers of pastel jerseys?
Yeah.
All right, first stop, Atlanta. Atlanta United hosting Chicago Fire. Domes closed, temperatures nice and steady, 75 degrees. But the SmartBet AI models, they're signaling a pretty big home advantage for Atlanta.
They are. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it's not just the noise, it's genuinely tough for visiting teams. And what's really interesting here is the SmartBet AI models, basically all of them are confident. Atlanta's expected to, well, dominate.
That's what we call a high-confidence scenario then.
Yep.
Based on these models.
Exactly. High confidence.
Okay, but that's a strong call, isn't it? Especially when you look at Atlanta defense. They've got injuries. Muyumba, Gregerson, Cohen, all out.
Yeah.
That's midfield, defense, even goalkeeper depth. For me, that immediately, raises a bit of a red flag.
It's a totally valid concern. And you look at Chicago, they're pretty much full strength, no big injuries reported. But the AI seems to be maybe looking past those specific players being out. It's focusing more on the, let's say, broader team dynamics, historical trends, that sort of thing.
So what are those deeper factors? What are the models picking up on that makes them so sure, even with those guys missing?
Well, SmartBet AI uses, it adjusts something called an ELO rating, in chess.
Yeah, dynamic rankings.
Right. It constantly updates team strength based on results. And even after adjusting for injuries, Chicago just looks really, really weak on the road. Their away ELO is poor.
Okay.
So their only real shot, theoretically, might be to, press that weakened Atlanta defense early, try and force mistakes, capitalize on a bit of chaos. But the models just aren't really giving that much weight.
So what are the actual numbers saying?
Yeah.
The breakdown from the different models.
Okay, so if you look at the Poisson model, that's the statistical one, great for goal predictions. It gives Atlanta about 1.69 expected goals.
Yeah.
Chicago, under 0.7. And then the Monte Carlo simulations, they run the game thousands of times.
Wow.
After 10,000 runs, a home win just completely dominates the results.
Right.
Most common scores popping up are 2-0 and 1 error Atlanta.
So it sounds like for this game, all the AI voices are singing the same tune. You've got Poisson, Random Forest, XG Boost, neural nets. All of them. And just for you listening, those are different kinds of advanced algorithms. Random Forest, XG Boost, they're machine learning models, finding complex patterns and loads of data. Neural nets kind of mimic how a brain works. The point is, the consensus here is, well, it's pretty overwhelming.
It really is. Honestly, models thrive on consistency. If Atlanta gets an early goal, this one could just become very, very procedural.
Right.
What's fascinating, though, is how that collective AI wisdom seems to override what you might call, common sense worries about those injuries.
So for you, what's the angle here based on that AI consensus and knowing how these models tick?
Atlanta money line. Has to be. They just need the win.
Simple enough.
If you're feeling a bit more adventurous, maybe a correct score, 2-0 or 2-1 perhaps. I also, I quite like over 1.5 Atlanta team goals. The models think they'll find the net, even with that patched up defense.
Okay.
But, always got to mind the variance. If Chicago somehow nicks one against the run of play, you could be sweating it.
Still, SmartBet AI is putting Atlanta close to, 70% win probability after all those simulations?
Pretty much. That's about as strong a signal as MLS tends to give us.
Yeah.
Injuries or no injuries, this really feels like Atlanta's match to lose. Chicago's probably just hoping the stadium AC works well enough to save them from a tactical roasting.
Hot air in Georgia, indeed. Okay, so the models are pretty clear on Atlanta tonight. But Before we get too confident in just the data, let's take a step back into a really weird moment in Atlanta United's history.
Oh.
A reminder that even the best plans can go totally sideways because of something completely unexpected. Tell us about the infamous Peach Kit game.
Oh, we are going there, right. MLS history, written in cheap polyester. The Peach Kit game.
Picture this. It's 2017, Atlanta's first season. Mercedes-Benz Stadium packed. Over 50,000 fans, huge expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Tata Martino, the master of possession football, he's pacing the sideline like a four-star general.
And then the team comes out, not in their usual red and black or even the white kit.
No, they come out in peach, like a soft pastel disaster.
And from the first whistle, just chaos. Absolute mess. Atlanta had no shape, no pressing structure. Fullbacks were just like overlapping into oblivion.
Montreal looked kind of confused for maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Then they clearly realized, oh, wait, Atlanta's defending seems to be based on, like, interpretive dance today.
Pretty much.
By halftime, it's 2-0 in Montreal.
Yeah.
And not even good goals. Just, how did nobody mark that guy type goals?
It wasn't really a football match. It felt more like some kind of accidental performance art piece.
Right. Meanwhile, Tata's on the sideline, just radiating fury, arms crossed, stone-faced, pure silent rage, no subs, no shouting.
And then halftime hits, the locker room story. Apparently 5 full minutes of just silence. He didn't say a word.
Which for a coach, that's often way scarier than getting yelled at.
Absolutely.
And then post-match, he finally talks, and he blames the kits.
The kits. The official reason he gave. Players couldn't track each other's runs because, and this is basically a quote, the peach blended into the turf.
Tactical camouflage.
Yeah.
Courtesy of MLS kit design.
Exactly. Tactical invisibility. Atlanta lost because their uniforms accidentally made them cosplay as the pitch itself.
Fans started calling them the ghost uniforms. They were very quietly retired mid-season.
Never seen again. Probably buried under the stadium concrete somewhere. It's a truly wild story, and just a testament to how tiny, unexpected details can completely derail everything.
So the moral of that story, doesn't matter how many fans you have, who your coach is, if your kit accidentally camouflages your players,
You're kind of screwed.
you're finished. And tonight, as Atlanta might be hunting for that quote-unquote easy win the models suggest, just remember, unexpected stuff happens.
It always can. So maybe don't bet the farm when a team comes out dressed like the field. Just a thought.
Right. And this whole idea of unexpected variables, it gets even more critical when our AI models aren't all singing the same song. Which brings us neatly to our next match.
Mm-hmm.
We're going from Georgia's comfy dome to a very different scene. Cincinnati's TQL Stadium, it's going to be humid, sticky. And tonight, Inter Miami roll in, shorthanded, but still dangerous.
93% humidity. You said it earlier. It's basically football in a sauna. I'm like sweating just thinking about playing in that.
Yeah, seriously. And since he's missing Hagland and Kahn, so some defensive depth is gone.
Yeah.
But Miami, they're missing Calendar. Ruiz, Bright. Key defensive pieces.
Sounds worse for Miami, doesn't it?
It does. But that's not what SmartBet AI is saying across the board. This is where it gets fascinating.
And that is the weird part. See, the Poisson model, the statistical one, it actually gives Cincy a little edge here. Maybe 1.44 goals to Miami's 1.22. You could argue that's classic home form bias kicking in.
Okay, makes sense.
But then the machine learning models, they just completely flip the script.
They flip. Wow. What do you think causes that? Why are the machine learning models seeing it so differently from Poisson?
Well, the random forest, XGBoost, MLP, these more complex machine learning types, they're actually leaning towards an away win for Miami.
Miami, with those injuries.
Exactly. Even the stacked ensemble, which kind of blends all the model outputs, it tilts towards inner Miami.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of gives me pause. When the AI starts pushing against what feels like, common sense, like betting on a team with big defensive gaps, that's when you got to bet cautiously.
Right.
This isn't just about two predictions pointing different ways. It's like a little window into how the AI itself struggles with uncertainty sometimes.
Which brings us right to what we call a model conflict zone. Poisson, like Cincinnati at home. Machine learners, they're backing Miami. And for you listening, this is where that crucial lesson comes in, right? About fading overconfidence when the models split like this.
Absolutely. And the Monte Carlo simulations, they show an away win as the most likely single outcome, but draws. Draws come in almost as frequently as a Miami win.
So volatility.
Screens volatility, This looks like a classic trap match. Miami's attack, sure, it can overwhelm anyone. But those defensive gaps, plus that brutal humidity, that could totally flip things late in the game.
And different models might weigh things differently, right? Like injuries versus long-term strength.
Exactly. Some might prioritize current injuries more heavily. Others might lean on longer-term team strength metrics or maybe historical head-to-heads. That's how you get these fascinating disagreements.
So you're looking at the data, but you're also thinking about the actual, like, biology of players running around in that soup.
Oh, absolutely. I'll factor in human biology before I bet heavily on backup center backs any day. And look, Cincinnati, they kind of thrive on late scrambles at home. That stadium traps moisture like a greenhouse. Visiting teams really seem to fade hard around the 75th minute.
Okay, so models edge Miami, but weather and injuries tell maybe a different story. Definitely a bet with caution situation. What's the safest play here, in your view?
For me, I'm looking at Inter Miami draw no bet. That way, if it ends level, you get your stake back. Protects against that volatility.
Smart.
But Miami's attack should still, theoretically, tilt the field enough. I also kind of like both teams to score. Both defenses look a bit shaky, and the models do suggest tight score lines, maybe 1-1, 2-1 territory.
Makes sense. And with all that uncertainty swirling around Cincy, what's one bet you definitely avoid, even if some models hint at it?
I'd probably stay away from the over 2.5 goals. The models are split on total goals, and honestly, that humidity could just absolutely kill the pace in the second half. Could easily end 1-1 or 1-0.
Gotcha. So, bottom line for this one. It's not just about Messi. It's about sweat, who's missing, and can Miami's attack actually function in that fog?
Right. And can Cincy turn that Ohio air into, like, a 12th man? Either way, expect a real grind, and probably bet like you expect the unexpected. And this really gets to the nuance of using advanced AI, doesn't it? People hear AI prediction, and they often think, oh, certainty, like we're just handing out tomorrow's newspaper results.
Yeah, that's the trap.
It really is. Models don't always guarantee clarity, especially when they split.
Like tonight in Cincinnati. Poisson sees home value. Machine learners lean Miami. The combined ensemble barely tilts away.
And when you see that split, that's not your green light to bet big. That's your bright red warning flag.
Right.
When the models don't agree, the smart move is usually to reduce your stake, not double down on your gut feeling. You don't chase, you adapt. That's just smart analysis.
And that's kind of the whole point of using something like SmartBet AI, isn't it? It's not about replacing your own judgment entirely. It's about showing you where the probabilities get, well, wobbly.
Exactly. Ensemble splits aren't a bug. They're a feature. They're the model basically saying, look, this match is messy. There's chaos here. Proceed with caution. The bigger that split, honestly, the tighter your bankroll management should be. It's not flashy, maybe, but it's disciplined.
So wrapping this all up, what does this mean for you listening and trying to make sense of all this? Remember, forecasts aren't promises. They're more like warnings about where the variance lives.
And tonight, based on this, a lot of variance lives in Cincinnati. Humidity, injuries, those model splits. Tighten up your risk. Let the potential chaos play out with getting yourself overexposed.
Okay, so let's recap the key takeaways then. For Atlanta, we saw that clear model consensus, a strong win probability, nearly 70% after simulations. That's your high-confidence scenario, where the AI paints a pretty clear picture.
But then, yeah, we had the detour into the peach kit game, that bizarre story where Atlanta basically lost because of their kit color. A stark reminder of those weird, unexpected factors that can just wreck everything, no matter how good the team seems on paper.
And finally, Cincinnati. That was our prime example of a model conflict zone, wasn't it? Poisson favoring Cincy, machine learning leaning Miami, Monte Carlo showing lots of draws, which really drove home that crucial lesson.
Yeah.
Fade your overconfidence when the models disagree. The AI itself is telling you things are uncertain.
And connecting all these examples back to your journey of gaining knowledge, it really comes down to remembering forecasts aren't guarantees, they're pointers. They show you where the unpredictability, the variance, is likely hiding.
So what does this all mean for you? It means respecting that variance, analyzing with your brain, not just your gut or your ego, and remembering that sometimes even the most sophisticated AI is basically just telling you that chaos might be on the menu.
Especially if you're sweating, both figuratively and literally. Stay smart, maybe bet small on those uncertain ones, and hydrate.
Couldn't have said it better. Until next time, keep diving deep into whatever makes you curious.